everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a very warm welcome to you all joining me on this rather nasty, gloomy day for a tour de force of my graphite moulds. And there's a good reason why I want to go through all of these and show them to you, because it's going to form part of what this year's silver pouring is all about. So for those that don't know or have joined the channel recently, we got started here on YouTube by sharing what I call silver pouring compilation videos. And that formed the very first kind of theme of pieces that I would sell. And it would be a case of, we would video when a piece was made in a particular mold and share it in that video, that pouring compilation. And then I would form what I used to call the leaf ripple series, because we used to stamp in the middle of the ripples with a leaf, but now we call it the YouTube ripple series, and they're all serialized. And it was an eclectic mix of pour what I felt at the time. And I have a huge pile of molds, as you can see, 2 big storage boxes worth of molds here. And what I'm planning for 2021 is the pour every single mold challenge. So I'm going to challenge myself to make at least minimum of 1 piece for every single mold that we actually have. And there's a part of me that always wants to do this because you spend good money on a mold, and if you don't use it, it just seems a bit of a waste, doesn't it? So it's always nice to actually use the molds that you've put lots of money into. Some of these molds are not cheap at all, because there'll be particularly complex ones like our globes, the 2 halves for those, or for example, the Tetris molds. They're not cheap because they're sort of 7-in-1 molds. So some of them are quite expensive, and to justify almost their existence, it's nice to actually use them every now and again. It's always an interesting concept though with the molds, because whenever I saw like a graphite mold that would be up for sale, say on eBay or something, I'd always look at it and go, "Ooh, that looks quite cool. I think I'll give that a go." In the back of my mind thinking, well, it is quite an expensive mold, but it does need to, if it sells 5 or 6 pieces, then it's kind of paid for itself. Some molds don't. Some molds are obviously less popular than others. So it's really kind of an interesting game to think about. Now, I have absolutely no doubt I'm not going to be able to show every single mold out on the table here laid out, but we'll get most of them out and see what we've got, because there's some really interesting ones that we've had delivered over time. I have noticed that there are a few less kind of mold makers easily making molds on eBay. Like, there used to be a lot. There used to be a lot of people, I think, when sort of the YouTube silver pouring started to kind of come up. There were a lot of custom mold makers, and I've noticed quite a few of those mold makers having dropped away, which is a little bit sad. So things like these pirate rounds from Parts for Less 1999 have certainly become less common. And when you do see good molds come up on eBay or somewhere, often they get snapped up pretty quickly. So you can see a huge different eclectic mix, and that's one of the reasons I love working with graphite, is that you can pretty much do anything with graphite. There are some limitations in terms of what you can do and the size you can do, depending on the graphite blocks and things like that. But generally speaking, it's really easy and flexible to get whatever you want. So we're nearly out on this box. I'm going to have to start doubling up, I'm afraid, because it's just not enough room here. And you can see I've got 2 great big storage boxes, and it's a lot of graphite molds. Talking even if they were £20 each, there's a lot of value locked up in these molds. So as I said, it's always nice to be able to justify their existence. Some of these molds significantly more than £20, especially for us in the United Kingdom, as we have to import them all the way often from the US, and that can be quite expensive, especially now with taxes and import taxes. Sometimes the cheaper molds would manage to get through without taxes if they were below £15, but not so much anymore. So whilst I get these other ones out, the plan for this all mold challenge, or pour every single mold challenge, is going to be that they will be videoed. They'll be in that YouTube Ripple series, and we will try our best to get it all done within 1 year. Now, the way that we traditionally work here is that we would pour things and then have them all finished, done, and then put them up for sale. But if there is a particular mould that you would like to have, then please do let me know ahead of time. We can obviously move it up the docket in terms of number. I don't know quite how many moulds we actually have that are going to be included in this. That's another reason for the exercise, so that we can actually have a full accounting of what moulds we've got. And at the end of the process as well, we'll have a full kind of photo database of every single mould that we actually have, so that we can offer those out to whatever people would like. Now, of course, there are going to be multiples of some, things like the Celtic Ripple, which I saw over here somewhere. I've buried it. It's one of our most popular moulds. Where did it go? Here we go. The Celtic Ripples, for example, they're like the most popular ones that we've ever done. As soon as I pour these, people buy them. So there will be multiples, so don't feel like, if you are not able to reserve the one and only piece of a particular mould that we're going to pour in a year, that you're going to miss out. That's not the idea of this exercise. Minimum of one piece for every mould that we have, but we can of course do more if people would like to have a particular type. But we have, as you can see, a really big eclectic mix of different moulds, and they're all interesting in their own rights. I mean, some are more so than others. You've got obviously like the big rectangles and big bar shapes and things like that, but there are a lot of really interesting shapes, designs, patterns, sizes, things like that we can do. Some of these, like stars, for example, are really, really cool. Those are my favourites. And of course, the big chunky pyramids. So here we now have the last ones coming out. A backup Tetris mould. And the last quintessential bar. So yeah, as I said, the general idea then will be to pour these moulds throughout the year. We'll do the silver pouring compilation videos. We've already made a start on some of them, but generally speaking, my idea this year is to make them, pour them, and have them kind of listed on our website as and when things come for sale. So you don't have to pre-order, you don't have to pre-sale. If something speaks to you when you've seen it, when it's made, finished, done, and dusted, then you can check it out. We don't have anything listed right now, but throughout the course of the year we will. In fact, we have got the very first batch of items up in the Edinburgh Assay office right now as we speak, and I would hope that the first few would be back perhaps in about 5 or 6 days. That's what I'm hoping. So maybe by the end of next week we'll have some pieces ready for sale. This mould, by the way, made for me by Fossil Metals. Handmade mould. Absolutely awesome. Really love that. Looking forward to pouring them. Also gives me a little bit of nostalgia going back through all of these. We've got some moulds that we've had for a very long time. Let me in fact find the dragon head mould, because that one was always an interesting one for me to remember. Oh, it's going to be difficult. So there's one of the dragons, this one here, and then there's a bigger version of it, which I am struggling to find quickly. It's got so many of them. Okay, can't find it right now. Must be in here somewhere. I'm sure some of you are. Here we go, hidden away. So this dragon mould is an interesting one along our journey, because I do remember when I got it, I was like, I'm really excited to pour this, but I was still using the smaller furnace that we were using, and it didn't have enough silver to pour into it. It just didn't fill the mould. So when I finally got this mould, I was really excited to poured it, just couldn't get it to fix with the just under 3 ounces worth of silver that we were having going into the mould. So eventually it was one of the things that spurred me on to get the slightly bigger furnace to actually pour bigger pieces, which is of course now born into pouring up to kilo-sized pieces in giant moulds like this one here, and of course the big old chunky cube. So lots of really interesting things. Some that we have hardly used at all. Some of these were the last pieces or last moulds that I saw available from places like Parts for Less 1999 on eBay. So we've only, I think, ever poured 2 of those kind of textured triangles. So not very many of those at all. Love this one. This is one of my favourite moulds, the sort of Aztec kind of skull round coin, really big chunky one. It comes out about 5.5, 6 ounces. It's so intricately detailed, so well made as a mould, as a graphite mould, and it's really, like, it's amazing how much detail you can get from graphite, and You know, often people will think that graphite is literally just from pouring some simple bars, but you can actually get some really intricate, detailed pieces coming out from them. So yeah, an awful lot in here. Oh, this is one of my favorites, again, from Fossil Metals, who made me the leaf, the quintessential backyard bullion leaf, and it pours really well. Such a nice piece, such a glorious little piece, and yeah, really cool. So there we have kind of the eclectic mix of all of our molds, so many of them here to choose from and look at. We will be pouring each and every one at least once in this year, and we will be showcasing them on our channel in silver pouring compilation videos. So if you would like to see a particular one, or if you would like to see or if you'd like to buy a particular one, I should say, then please do get in touch ahead of time so we can look to reserve that particular piece for you. Otherwise, if you would like to see those pouring compilation videos when they come up throughout the year, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. And if you've enjoyed this little overview of our graphite stack, it's quite a lot of graphite in there, then please do let me know by hitting that thumbs up button. That'd be very helpful for everything we do here on the channel. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next video. Have a fantastic week ahead. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.